Notwithstanding his rebellious youth and quirky nature, Oda Nobunaga began to show signs of the extraordinary leader he would become in his teens. His exceptional vision and capacities to think beyond the traditions of the time were apparent in small but significant gestures and decisions that challenged the expectations of his mentors and allies. He exhibited an unquenchable curiosity, along with a reckless courage that was also a driving force behind his development. Under Hirate Masahide's supervision and the direct influence of his father, Nobuhide, he began to fine-tune his strategic sense and develop a deep understanding of the power dynamics in Owari. Owing to his rebellious ways and lack of reverence for tradition, Nobunaga was known as the Fool of Owari by his critics, but those who observed him closely realized that there was nothing silly about him. Using his unorthodox methods, he accomplished everything he set out to achieve. Although he openly defied tradition and the behavior expectations of an heir, Nobunaga impressed with his critical thinking and ability to anticipate the political movements of the other court members. In 1594, at the age of 15, the incredibly strong Nobunaga displayed an unwavering confidence on the battlefield, and a daring spirit that inspired both admiration and concern in his allies and enemies alike. He was also deeply charming and charismatic, qualities that gradually won the respect of more seasoned warriors. These early leadership signs did not go unnoticed by Nobuhide. Notwithstanding the frequent tensions between father and son, fed by Nobunaga's defiance and unwillingness to follow traditional protocols, Nobuhide acknowledged the latent genius in the boy. He had a mind that not only understood the rules of the game, but also sought to reinvent them. This potential was clear enough for Nobuhide to make a crucial decision: to declare Nobunaga the official heir to the Oda clan. This step, taken around 1594, was an important milestone not only for Nobunaga, but for the future of the Oda clan. With this designation, Nobuhide made it clear that, despite the doubts of some vassals about the young man's maturity, he had faith that Nobunaga could lead the clan in rough times. It was a daring wager, but one that reflected Nobuhide's strategic vision and his belief in his son's outstanding potential. This moment not only signaled the beginning of Nobunaga's transition from a young rebel to an emerging leader, but also put the weight of the Oda clan's future on his shoulders. While the days of greater glory were ahead, the appointment as official heir was the first step for Nobunaga to move on from being just a troublesome boy and start on the path that would lead him to become one of the most influential figures in Japanese history. After years of incessant battles, tense negotiations, and tireless efforts to cement the power of the Oda clan, Oda Nobuhide started to show signs of physical decline in 1551. The relentless pressure to lead in an era marred by betrayal and political chaos was taking its toll. Known for his resolve and ability to overcome adversity, Nobuhide was now facing an enemy that not even his wits could defeat: the deterioration of his own health. While the exact cause of his illness is unclear, many believe that the physical and mental wear and tear accumulated over the years was a decisive factor. He had spent much of his life leading military campaigns to protect and expand Owari territory, facing both external enemies like the Imagawa and the internal tensions of a fragmented clan. These duties left no room for rest, and the weight of his leadership began to manifest itself in growing weakness. Kiyosu Castle, which Nobuhide had turned into the center of Oda power, became the venue for his final instructions. He gathered up his top advisors and vassals to reassert his vision of a unified and resourceful clan. As his health rapidly declined, Nobuhide knew he would not have time to finish his work, but he was confident that he had laid the foundations of his son, Nobunaga, to continue his mission. Already acknowledged as the heir, Oda Nobunaga gradually began to take on more responsibilities under his father's watchful eye. Despite his concerns about his son's eccentric behavior, Nobuhide passionately believed in Nobunaga's talent and his ability to lead in such a tumultuous time. He handed over to Nobunaga not only the leadership of the clan, but also the burden of hope for a future where Oda could not only survive, but thrive. Late in 1551, Nobuhide fell victim to a crippling illness. His death was the end of an era for the Oda clan, while leaving a lingering legacy of strength and resilience. While Owari province was still splintered between different branches of the Oda clan, it was already displaying signs of the power it would become. But it would still be beset by internal and external threats. Nobuhide left this world knowing that his son, with all his potential and ambition, would have to face even bigger challenges to solidify what he had started. In early 1551, Oda Nobuhide's funeral provided a stage for the political tensions that were boiling within the Oda clan. The death of Nobuhide, who had kept the clan together through his leadership strength and strategic ability, resulted in a power vacuum that quickly led to divisions and uncertainty. While Nobuhide had expressly named Oda Nobunaga as his heir, the succession was not widely accepted. The 17-year-old Nobunaga was seen by many vassals as a reckless and eccentric boy who threatened the stability of the clan with his lack of respect for conventions. This contrasted sharply with his younger brother, Oda Nobuyuki, whose respectful demeanor and persona, more in line with traditional expectations, made him an attractive choice for the clan's conservative branches. Nobuyuki was quickly embraced by supporters who spotted him in a chance to keep order and preserve Nobuhide's legacy without the hazards associated with Nobunaga's leadership. The clan's political rift was clear during the festival. Nobuhide's vassals included two main groups. The first, consisting of loyal and pragmatic warriors, believed that Nobunaga, for all his eccentricities, was the best choice to lead the clan. They acknowledged his strategic potential and audacious vision, characteristics that could lead the Oda clan to a future of greater glory. The second group, made up of more traditional and conservative leaders, preferred to support Nobuyuki. For them, Nobuyuki represented the continuity of stability and respect for the traditions that Nobuhide had cultivated. Oda Nobuhide's funeral was supposed to be a reverent moment of unity, a solemn ceremony to honor the leader who had steered the Oda clan through challenging times. For many of those present, this event became memorable for unexpected reasons, owing to the behavior of the young heir Oda Nobunaga. Although his siblings, including Nobuyuki, and the clan leaders attended the funeral in formal attire, rigorously following the mourning protocol, Nobunaga arrived in simple clothes, rather peasant-like. He was not wearing the ceremonial kimono that symbolized status and respect, opting instead for a worn cotton suit and sandals that pointed to his disregard for etiquette. To onlookers, his demeanor was not only an insult to Nobuhide's memory, but also an outrage to the clan's traditions. He neither bowed properly at the altar, where his father's spirit was honored, nor did he perform the customary incense rituals with the expected formality. It seemed to many that Nobunaga was not mourning, but openly breaking with convention. One moment that left a deep impression on those present was when Nobunaga abruptly stepped up to the altar and threw the incense on the fire in an ungraceful gesture that lacked the usual formalities. He then remained standing, looking directly at the altar, in an act that may be interpreted as dismissive. His behavior was met with shock, indignation, and unease. To the clan's more traditional vassals and allies, his attitude was a straightforward insult to Nobuhide's legacy and the authority of the Oda clan. Many grumbled among themselves, questioning Nobunaga's ability to lead the clan in such unstable times. Some even considered him unfit to succeed his father. A real battle would have broken out if it had not been for the soothing skills of Hirate Masahide, who managed to avoid the worst. Nobunaga's attitude at the funeral enraged many vassals, who began to openly support his brother, and Nobunaga's reputation as the fool of Owari spread even further. But the real fools were those who failed to realize that all of Nobunaga's actions at the funeral were coldly planned. By inciting the anger of his opponents, he had made the disloyal vassals reveal themselves. Nobunaga now knew exactly who his main opponents were, and the treacherous actions brought their necks into Oda Nobunaga's sights. The reign of the young Nobunaga was to begin in bloody fashion.